Hello, 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 and welcome back to Chaotic Minds. As always, it's your boy, Guess,
And the midget.
and we are back.
Hey, guess what? 2 weeks in a row.
Woot. So, hopefully, you guys enjoyed last week's episode. Um, there's a reason why it's called Mixed Bag Special.
We enjoyed it.
Every once in a while, just like you get episodes of us just talking about one topic, there are going to be some episodes where we literally just flow from point to point to point
Bunny trail.
because that's just how our minds work. And hello, welcome to Chaotic Minds. It's almost like it's in the name or something.
If you're new here, we're kind of crazy.
Kinda.
Okay, a lot of it crazy.
Anyways, so we have a decent episode for you today. I guess first and foremost, hey midget,
How about that healthcare system?
for real.
Yeah, in case you haven't noticed, other countries that are around the U.S., they have better healthcare than the U.S., who's supposed to be leading the charge in things like this.
Well, I don't know about leading the charge. I think it's more along the lines of
We're a
we
bunch of
have
greedy-
better health care because we do more in the quality of health care and yada 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 yada. But it all comes down to one thing for the healthcare of the United States,
Money, 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 money.
whether or not you have the money for it. And
The entire healthcare system here is a joke. It's built on greed, and who has more money gets more services. That sounds really bad.
no, it's true. I mean, the almighty dollar here moves everything. I mean,
Cash is king.
when you have, like, you go to the hospital, right, and you have you're a little dehydrated, and they hook you up to some saline, and
You get a bill a month later.
that bill states that little 60 milliliter bag of saline
Or however big it
is like $2,500. That's a problem. You can go down to any place that you choose to, and you can get a bag of saline for like $25.
Or even better, something that rehydrates you better. If you can still drink something, just go to the store and get pickle juice, huh?
Well, in that regards for pickle juice, because of the salt content of pickle juice, it actually dehydrates you.
Actually, no. There is less salt content, less salt per ounce of pickle juice than there is in the saline that they give you at the hospital.
Oh.
The only reason it tastes like it has more is because of the vinegar and the pickling spices. And those have actually been proven not to dehydrate you. That's why they hand out free cups of pickle juice at Renaissance festivals. Everywhere you go.
Well, it's not the only reason at a Ren Fair. Let's face it.
No, that is literally why it started.
But I understand that, but that's not the only reason why. It's Renaissance. It's weird. So
No,
pickle juice. Anyways,
pickles have nothing to do with the Renaissance era. Anyway, healthcare is trash. Can we be like our neighbors to the north? Like, I don't get why people are so against socialist healthcare or national healthcare.
Well, there's a reason, and it's all goes down to nationality. We as Americans have been so used to paying everything, whether it's healthcare or hospital bills or like food, something to that extent. We pay for everything. the second that you mentioned socialism or socialist healthcare, everybody's first response, oh, you're gonna be communist? No, 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 no. Here's the thing: communism was invented by a socialist. Okay, Marx,
Yeah.
socialist, believed that everything should be equal across the board when it comes to public services. In regards to, I'm paraphrasing and maybe twisting things, and if I am, I'm sorry. Let me know in the comments. But when it comes to the idea, though, of socialism versus communism, socialism as an idea works in certain circumstances.
Yes.
Communism, on the other hand, is, while it is based off of socialism, it's like the more extreme ends of socialism, which doesn't work. I mean, there's a reason why the USSR fell.
I'll pose this to you. Think about it this way. People are so against socialist healthcare or national healthcare or whatever. And they're like, oh, you're a commie. Okay, communism. Ruled by the rich who just want to be richer and don't care about the little people and just want to crush everybody else beneath them. Is it just me? Or is their thought process a little ass backwards? Because aren't we already in a communist country?
No. And that is where I will disagree with you heavily on that. America as a whole is based off of the almighty dollar.
Yeah.
If you can pay for it, then it's yours.
Yeah.
Communism is based off the extreme aspect of socialism, where everyone has the same amount of money and everyone gets access to the same number of things. However, those who already have money, who are in power and whatnot, can choose to not contribute and instead make everyone below them share a pool. Whereas capitalism, the people who have money keep their money by evading taxes, or I have all my money is in liquid assets.
Do we know any families like that?
Like paintings and statues and real estate and yada yada yada. But it still allows the people who don't have money to, or don't come from money, to work their way up to having money if they do the things the right way.
Yeah.
Socialism is all about keeping everybody equal. Capitalism is all about, if you can make it, you can do it.
I'm more so talking about the mentality of those in power and those with money.
I mean, those with power are always going to want to stay in power. The scariest thing to those people in power is not having it. And there are some people who go their whole entire lives, from the minute they're born to the minute they die, having power. And they don't know anything otherwise.
Those are the people that I call silver spoons.
I mean, those are the people that everybody calls silver spoons.
No, I mean silver spoons shoved up their ass so far that they don't have a job.
Yeah. But there are those who work, quote unquote. You know, they come from a background where
you have to earn.
No. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the ones that are in between. Because the ones that have earned their money and earned their power and all of that, and are humble about it, like those people, dope people.
Keanu Reeves being one of them.
Yeah. Those people who have, quote unquote, worked for it, i.e. put the bare minimum in,
My dad gave me a small loan of $5 million.
I mean, that's
another story altogether.
Yeah. But I'm talking like those people who, like, they did the bare minimum to get in, and stuff like that.
Sorry about that. Give me just a moment, guys. He's gonna talk for a minute.
The ones who really don't have any time to do actual labor, like, I'm talking about those people who sit there and they have cushy jobs, and then they decide, oh hey, I'm gonna run for this office just because it's more cushy, it makes me more money, yada yada yada. Those who sit there and they bust their ass and they are doing like labor, like actual labor. The people who were waitresses and mechanics and teachers and something to that extent, those are the people I respect, because they worked, earned, spent their own money to get to a position where they are. And so I'm trying to think of a way how to put this. Like, they remember what it was like. Those people who, straight out of high school or straight out of college, insert whatever, and they go right into being some assistant or executive or upper level management. Like, those people who then go ahead and, I'm going to run for office. Like, really? You couldn't have done anything else beforehand? No. Why? Well, my skill set. No. Your skill set is what you want to make it. Like, before a few years ago, I knew nothing about vehicles. I knew nothing about, sitting there and what the difference between an alternator, what an alternator actually did, what the difference is between a couple of different alternators, something to that extent. No idea at all. And then I took a chance and I started working for an auto parts store. And now it's like, I know what an I'm not a mechanic by any shape or form, so don't use this as like, oh, hey, he knows about cars. No. There are more qualified people out there. Talk to them. But what I'm referring to is, like, I have more knowledge on the subject than I did 4 or 5 years ago. So my skill set is all about talking with people. Like, I have a really good customer service face. I have a really good customer service voice. I can talk with people. I can get them to talk to me about stuff that they aren't even realizing what they're talking about. That is my skill set. That is my wheelhouse. But taking time, learning about a new position, learning about a new subject or topic or whatever, gave me the ability to expand my wheelhouse. So to those people who sit there and they're like, oh, well, doing this is not in my wheelhouse. You'll learn. Give it a shot. It might be something that you enjoy. Try something new. Make chances. Make mistakes. Thank you, Miss Frizzle. But no, it's along those lines of people who are in power want to stay in power, and those people who don't have power want power because they're tired of being powerless. And when it comes to the American healthcare system, the people who are in power are the people who have money, the people who can pay for all of these things. Like, a friend of mine went to the doctor, needed, he wasn't feeling good, wasn't doing all right, had Medicaid, and Doctor looked at him, did the bare basic to get him out. His dad, who had money, had Blue Cross Blue Shield, not calling any place out like that, but he had insurance, private insurance, went ahead and went in 2 weeks later because, his son got him sick, and was given more treatment, more help than his son was for the same friggin' thing. And it's like, why? Why is this okay? Why is this something that we just accept? When it comes to healthcare, I mean, hospitals, doctors, some doctors, I'm not going to say all doctors, because that's just giving a blanket statement, but there are some doctors, and everyone listening knows one, or who has heard of one. But all these places that are medical centers that are there to go ahead and help heal somebody, all know of doctors and of hospitals that they don't want to that they choose not to go to, that the building and establishment itself is a scam. They're con artists.
Kaiser. Sorry about that, guys. Kids called from the store.
I mean, I was telling about my buddy who he got sick, and then like a week later or 2 weeks later, his dad got sick. And while my buddy had Medicaid and was given bare minimum, his dad had private insurance and was given a lot more. You have a story on that.
Yeah, so I have Medicaid. We all know this because I have 3 children, one of which isn't really a child anymore. He's an adult. We have had Medicaid for years because of the health problems between the 3 of them and myself, and not being able to afford private insurance. And I walked into a hospital in day 11 of a migraine. And Wayne and Guess can tell you, I was miserable. I hadn't eaten in probably 4 days.
Oh, yeah.
I had been vomiting for at least 3 or 4 of those days.
Which is the reason why you didn't want to eat.
I couldn't keep even water down at that point.
Well, you could at just random times.
And so I finally got tired of it. 11 days with a migraine.
11 days.
And I finally go into an ER.
After I drove you.
They gave me a bag of saline.
Yep.
2 bags. 2 bags.
Massive amounts, and I mean massive amounts, of IV Benadryl. And if y'all have never had that, think about taking a handful of the pill Benadryl that you can get at the store.
When you're only supposed to take like 2 at the max.
Oh, you can take up to 4 a day.
Oh. Well,
Yeah,
I
it's
meant
so
at
weird.
a time.
But no, they gave me a metric buttload of IV Benadryl.
Oh, yeah.
And they gave
A bunch of other pain relief drugs, and then was like,
Oh, no. They gave me potassium, which I couldn't swallow. They wanted me to swallow a horse pill after I had been sick and vomiting for 4 days. Yeah, that didn't happen.
oh yeah, I was like,
And they lectured me about not being able to take that pill. They asked me if they needed to crush it up, which talk to me like a 2-year-old again, and we're going to find out exactly how pissed off I can get.
which is actually kind of funny.
And
I am
then
5
I'm
foot
5
2.
foot nothing.
I am 5 foot nothing and full of rage.
Pretty much.
You're an angry cupcake.
Exactly. Cupcakes are delicious. No, and then they give me the one medication that I repeatedly tell them, actually 2 medications that I repeatedly tell them do not give me.
You don't have to go into those, so please don't.
No.
But it's just 2 medications.
Toradol, which applies here because Toradol, they charged my insurance, Medicaid, $3,000 for 1 shot of Toradol.
Mhm.
Which I told them not to give me to begin with. And then they tried to give me Dilaudid. And Dilaudid is supposed to be the most addictive narcotic medication on the market through IV form at a hospital.
Mhm.
I hate the feeling that shit gives me. I refuse it adamantly every time. I fought them for over 2 hours to not give that to me, and they finally listened. They didn't give it to me. They just gave me more Benadryl.
Yeah.
I get that Benadryl helps because you can finally get some rest. But that much Benadryl in a, 5-hour time span? Ain't nobody waking up for at least 18 hours. And I still woke up puking my guts out. Because none of it worked. But they charged Medicaid an exorbitant amount and did nothing else for me. Told me to follow up with my doctor, who is the same quack who took me off the one medication that worked because she doesn't believe in it. But yet, we have a friend. Well, I have a friend.
Yeah, because she's an acquaintance of mine. I would like to have the opportunity to become friends, like actual friends.
Her husband is a quack too. Not really a doctor quack, but he's nuts. Shell has been one of my good friends for decades.
Yeah.
She had private health insurance. Went in to the same facility that I did because she had Kaiser insurance. I had Kaiser and Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
She went in for her migraine after 2 days, received a wide array of tests. They nailed down what was causing her migraines. Not only gave her a medication to help with that, but sent her to a specialist who was a pain management doc who helps her with one medication and also gives her a different medication that works for her pain management as a breakthrough medication.
Yeah.
11 days. And I got garbage because I'm on Medicaid.
Because you're not paying for it. And that's the big thing. And that's like, if you have money, they're going to treat you a certain way. Just like if you have a certain rank in any sort of anywhere, whether it's military, whether it's, social status, insert whatever. If you have rank, you're going to get better treatment. I'm ex-military. I was an E3. I go in to get help at the VA. I get treated a certain way. I look
like
over.
Garbage don't get help.
I look over. I see a captain coming in, and they're all but bowing at the waist. Like, oh, hello, sir. How are you, sir? Let's right this way, sir. We'll get you right in right away, sir. I've been sitting there for 2 freaking hours waiting to see somebody.
And
This guy walks
his
in.
ass.
This guy walks in. 5 minutes after he walks in, oh, right this way, sir. Hi, you can sit there and wait. Excuse me?
Hey, look at it this way. Mental health services. The VA is famous for them being garbage
Yeah.
for lower ranking individuals.
We're not going there.
Same situation. You and a captain walk in side by side. He's going to get helped before you because you're a lowly E3. Who cares about that?
Yep.
Oh, you're in the middle of a crisis? oh, let's lock you up for 72 hours and still not help you.
Yep.
How long have we been waiting for a therapist? 5 years? Okay, call us back in 6 months, see if we have spot then.
Yeah.
I've been begging for mental health services through my doc. Still, same situation. Medicaid. Hey, we don't want to do that because let's try cutting out stress first. Yeah, I don't think I tried that. It's that old meme where the doctor prescribes cutting out the stress in your life and the guy starts going on a murdering spree. Who told you, why are you killing people? Well, my doctor told me to cut out the stress in my life.
Yeah. But no, I mean, to start wrapping this topic up, because we could take an entire episode, and maybe we will sometime in the future, take an entire episode of talking about this. But to start wrapping this up, the American healthcare system is a joke.
It's a sham.
It's a way for people to, and I'm not talking, when I say people, I'm meaning doctors.
The healthcare system is a shell company for the rich.
Yeah. I'm talking like those doctors who don't give a shit about anybody or anything other than money. Like nurses, RTs, the new doctors that are coming in who still have hope in their eyes. You know, those people I will support 100% because they work hard and get shat on a daily basis. But those doctors who are like, oh, I'm not going to do this unless it's going to either make me a lot of money or it's going to further my career or insert whatever.
Yeah.
Those ones can suck a dick.
Amen to that.
And if you're listening, which I highly doubt, but if you are listening to this, let's go ahead and see how well you fare if you're ever dropped into a country where your money don't mean shit and you want the best healthcare or best help that you can get.
I know one doctor personally as an RT or respiratory therapist, if you guys don't know what that RT means. He was a pulmonologist, Dr. Yeager. Great doc. I used to work with him at Kindred. He started asking questions about the way things were and why certain patients were able to get more care than others. And guess where he doesn't work anymore? He started asking questions and they fired him.
That doesn't surprise me.
When you rock the boat, they're going to dump your ass over.
Oh, yeah. Because you're questioning how things have been or how they'll say it, how they'll put it. You're going against tradition and you're going against yada,
company
yada, yada.
policy.
I'm sorry, when did this world become ruled by peer pressure from dead people?
When did this world become ruled by those who don't have care for others, that are supposed to be in a business for caring for others?
I can tell you that.
Money.
When they started, monetizing everything.
Exactly.
Quick tip for those here in the United States. You have to go to the doctors. You get a medical bill. Ask for an itemized receipt.
It's hysterical. They scramble and they try to get it. And when they finally give it to you, you're going to be shocked.
You ask for an itemized receipt, I can almost guarantee you they're going to start knocking some of those things off and your bill is going to drop.
Either that or you're going to see an itemized receipt with all those charges and you're going to be like, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should move on.
We really should. So, what's next, I guess?
I don't know.
Well, what's the next topic that you want to talk about?
I got an idea. New games!
New what?
New Game Plus. Oh, wait. New games coming out.
Ah, gotcha. So, as we've talked about before, I like playing video games. You like playing video games.
Yes. The
Uh,
last time we talked about this certain subject was way before Lightfall came out.
yeah. So here recently, in case you guys live under a rock or you don't play video games or whatever, a new expansion to one of my favorite series came out. Destiny 2 Lightfall. And in it, I'm not going to give any spoilers away. But it's just the next step in the story of Destiny and Destiny 2.
It's in the name.
I like the story. I like the new mechanic. I like some of the new weapons that you get. But there's controversy within the Destiny community. There are some people who really enjoy it, who they are really
Invested.
they're invested in it and they're really enjoying how the story is coming along. And then there are some people who are absolutely and utterly disgusted. And the comparison between the two, there's a lot.
What do you mean?
Well, like if you go onto Steam right now and you go ahead and you pull up Lightfall, there is a lot more negative, would not recommend comments, would not recommend ratings, mostly dissatisfied, then there are, hey, we're satisfied, we like this, mostly satisfied, we would recommend it, yada, yada, yada.
Is it those people that don't like the direction it went because it didn't go the way they wanted?
I mean, no. So here's your spoiler warning. What I'm about to talk about here is a spoiler for the game. If you don't mind, stick around. If you don't like it, I would suggest skipping over the next 15-20 minutes. But you come to find a new artifact that you are tasked with defending because the main villain wants to either destroy it or use it. And that in itself is confusing to a lot of people because in one scene, the main antagonist is talking to somebody that you happen to overhear the conversation, and they're talking about destroying it. At the end of the story arc, the main story of the set of missions that you go through, they use it to get what they want, which is for the light to fall, hence the name Lightfall.
Is that strand thing you're talking about?
No, this is the veil.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people are confused, like, wait, we heard this and yet they did this, or it's to some people it's like, well, they took the story and just took it to the left field. No.
It's like they think it's a bait and switch.
Yeah. The thing with it, and this is something that was shared by My Name is Bife on YouTube.
He's great.
Wonderful lore person when it comes to it. He
has a voice like butter.
You could ask him any question about the Destiny lore and he's going to be able to tell you an answer for it.
He's great.
He also does the That Sounds Like a You problem or T-Slate, which
funny.
is like all of like the funny stuff while him and his friends are playing.
The Eagle.
Yeah. But he brought up a really good point in one of the videos that he had posted here recently, talking about it. What if what we heard was just a lie? What if it was a distraction? They knew, the witness knew that we were there.
It's a sleight of hand.
Not really a sleight of hand, an outright deception.
Yeah.
What if that, and I personally agree with that. It's a deception. They knew that we were there. They knew that we were listening.
So
because
they
did it through our ghost. So they did one thing to throw us off, to get us closer to it, so that way he could then use us to get what he wanted.
Yeah, which is why he
And
uses your ghost.
the other thing is that people are disappointed and upset about is the fact that there is no explanation on what the veil is, how people know about it. Like the Cloud Striders, the people of the new planet Neomuni, or the Neomunians on the planet Neptune, all know about the veil. Osiris starts off questioning, and then, like, part of the way through the story is like, oh, hey, I know everything there is to know about the veil. And they deliberately leave it vague. And
People don't get that there's more to come out with Lightfall.
coming from some of the developers for D2, we don't know yet. In the coming more seasons that come along, more story that comes along, yada yada, we're going to get those answers that we seek. And that is exciting in itself to think about.
And people are upset that they don't have all the answers up front. It's like, when do you ever have all the answers up front about something?
I mean, I can understand why they're like that, because
Yeah.
past expansions, season or the Warmind, Osiris, you know, previous expansions have given all the answers
What's that one with
within
the
the
wolves?
main. That was D1.
Okay.
But they gave an answer for you, and they gave you all the information right up front when you completed the main story. Like, you had everything that you needed. But here's the thing. Ever since Beyond Light came out, which is when you got your first darkness ability, darkness subclass, things have started shifting. And not
Is that
only
the ice thing?
yes.
Okay.
Not only because Activision split from Bungie,
That's a whole nother bear.
but also because we are moving from, in my mind, we're going to the other side. Like the first couple expansions, the first couple of years of D2 was talking about the light. I mean, even in Destiny 1, talking about the light.
There's two sides to every coin.
We started getting a little snippets of darkness with in D1 with Eris Morn and taking of Oryx's blade and giving us the ability to wield swords.
Didn't they talk
But
about that in the Vault of Glass thing from D1?
no.
As you can tell, I don't play Destiny very often.
At least not that I can remember. But it was mainly everything is of the light. Yada yada light, yada yada this, yada yada that. Then Beyond Light came out. And that's when we started showing more darkness stuff. Our choices became a little more ambiguous. We were walking a darker path. And actually that started in Forsaken, if I'm going to be completely honest. Where Cade 6 died. He was killed. And then we ended up killing his killer, Aldrin. And then all of a sudden this new light bearer popped up by the name of Crow. And then you end up seeing Crow's face, and it's the face of Aldrin.
Yeah.
But he has no memory of what happened before until it was pretty much forced upon him in a later season, in a later update.
It's part of showing more of that darkness.
Yeah. The storyline in itself is moving more towards a darker thread because the light has now fallen in a sense, and now we're using more darkness subclasses. Like the focus now is more on using these darkness subclasses. I mean,
some of these darkness subclasses in their defense are pretty freaking wicked.
I mean, Beyond Light started the whole stasis thing. And you could go to Europa now that we're in, Lightfall, and there's still, like, the planet itself is promoting using stasis. You go to Neptune and you go to the city of New Mooney, it's promoting the use of the new subclass Strand, which is a darkness subclass. The planets themselves
me of other stuff.
the planets themselves are promoting these darkness subclasses. Versus, you go to Earth, you go to the EDZ or the Cosmodrome, you go to Mars, you go to, Nessus, you go to the moon. There isn't really a boost to these darkness subclass. These darkness subclasses, you are more guided and wanting to use your light abilities, your solar, your arc, your void subclasses there.
It's more so of that veil being over our face.
Exactly. And you sit there and you read into the story, or you try to read into the story, and things are confusing and left vague on purpose. What it's like, it's kind of like trying to read in the dark. You could do it, absolutely, but you're not going to be able to get the full story because you can't see everything. That is what we're in right now. We have no idea what the veil is. We don't really have an idea of what the veil is. We really don't have any idea of what the witness was trying to do. We're being left in the dark. Hello. Because we're in this new area. We don't know all the information. We don't have everything that, like, our player character doesn't have everything that it needs or that they need, because we're purposefully left in the dark. It has been obscured. We don't have the information, not because it's not there, but it's because we have to find it ourselves.
And that's what the newer seasons that are going to come out eventually are going to be about. But people are impatient.
And that's the thing. They're so used to getting what they want right away that they want everything to know about this. But
they hate questioning things.
It's not that they hate questioning things. I mean, because there were, for years, there was theories and stuff about, and even back in D1, there was theories about, oh, what's Destiny 2 going to be like? What is coming next in this game? Before Orcs and the Taken King expansion came along, what is the next thing that's coming? And then we get fucking Orcs coming in and ripping through, and everyone's like, oh shit.
Out in left field, you get knocked all the way over.
And then they're like, okay, well, what's D2 going to be about? And then vanilla campaign of D2, first thing that happens, we fucking get attacked. We get our light stripped from us. We have to reclaim it. Yeah, nobody expected that shit.
Exactly.
Nobody expected that shit. And I mean, so even in the light era, as I call it, we were so used to getting all of our information, but we still had time for theories. We had more of an accurate guess of what was coming because we were given all of this information up front, and we were given enough teasers and spoilers and yada yada to be like, oh hey, this is what's coming. And now we're moving into this new section, this new era of darkness, and everything's being hidden. And we have to be patient or find out, look through pieces of lore to get the information. I mean, your weapons, your armor, all have the lore involved in it. And
I'm wondering if these people that are giving such negative comments and negative reviews, and this is just a thought, so correct me if I'm wrong, these people that are giving those negative thoughts and negative reviews are the same people that are rushing through the game and not reading the lore, not reading the pages of the journals and other stuff that you obtain.
I mean, you could even look at the weapons themselves. Like you pull up the weapon, you go ahead and you inspect it to add in mods or to change out things. And some of the weapons have you push the right shoulder button or the left shoulder button, and it pulls up, at least on controller, it pulls up the lore. There's lore attached to the weapons. Same thing with the armor. There's lore attached to the armor.
People just rush through and skip over it and wonder why they're out in left field and know nothing about what's going on.
I mean, Bife goes into it. I mean, he uses pieces of like weapons and armor to read over all of that to get the lore and to get a better idea.
If you guys have not heard anything from My Name is Bife, pause this, go to YouTube, listen to some of the lore if you're interested in that type of thing, and then come back, because he is phenomenal when it comes to lore, explaining things, breaking things down,
theorizing,
and he draws you in. He's one of those types of storytellers that draws you in.
Oh yeah.
And he goes into such great explanations that somebody like me that doesn't play very often on Destiny 2 or even when D1 was out, that we could understand what's going on and understand the next part of the story and come up with theories of our own and get shocked when some of those theories are right, some of them are wrong. But he's phenomenal in telling that that type of story. Sorry, that was kind of a little bunny trail that was like...
You're fine. Speaking of lore, though, and theories and expectations, you do have something that you are interested and invested in that is coming
the 17th.
In the month of your birth, and has an open beta coming out here shortly.
March 17th to March 19th. And if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, I have been playing the Diablo series since Diablo 1 on the computer. And believe me, when you didn't have a computer and you had to go over to your best friend's house because your dad didn't think girls should be playing video games, dude, I am so excited for Diablo 4 that it's not even funny. I have been waiting for Diablo 4 since before Diablo 3 was announced. Or right after Diablo 3 was announced. Because, yeah, some of the story stuff in Diablo 3 and the things you have to do become repetitive. I mean, look at where I'm at. I'm on my, 15th or 16th playthrough, and no, I'm not joking.
No, she's not.
And I am literally on one of my characters on the hardest and highest difficulty. And I still want to go back and play with that character, play through some stuff, because there are some missions, well, most of the missions in Diablo 3, they have random things that happen, just like in any video game. You can go through a mission 3 times and have 3 different locations for separate caves or dungeons or whatever, what have you, and find new stuff every time. And that's why I'm so invested in it. And then now Diablo 4, Lilith, seriously? Hell to the yeah. Lilith being brought in is going to be phenomenal.
You have high hopes. Especially after the whole Diablo Eternal debacle.
Everybody hated that.
Well, here's the thing. And I've played Diablo Eternal. Here's why. 1, when it was first announced, it was announced as the sequel, the next step in the story for after Diablo 3. It was announced as a sequel to Diablo 3 in place of Diablo 4. Diablo Eternal was originally marketed as Diablo 4. When they announced
you're talking about the phone game.
Yeah, that's Diablo Eternal.
Yeah.
When they announced it at E3 and then they took questions, somebody asked, is this then is this technically considered Diablo 4? And they said yes. And then they said that it was going to be on your phone and that you'd be able to play like a ported, not really a ported, but like a uh, uh what are they called? Like you can play the original Pokemon games on your computer, a ROM, emulated. You know, you can play
Yeah.
an emulated version that syncs up to your phone on your computer. And the looks and the
Discuss.
jeers and the complaining that happened, holy shit. I watched that. I have never seen a crowd flip from being so excited to being absolutely like, what the fuck?
Surprisingly, I did not play Diablo Eternal
I did. It sucked.
because
It is a pay to win. That's
what I don't like about games.
That is the hugest thing right there. Diablo Eternal is a pay to win. Like, yeah, you could get some good gear running around, and you can get decent
Grinding.
stuff, and
Yeah.
by grinding it out. But for the most part, all of the best stuff in that game you have to buy. You have to pay actual real life currency to get in-game currency to gamble in a gacha system.
And I think that's where they started having issues with some of their development staff.
Well, it's by Blizzard.
Yeah.
And all of the shit that's been going on with Blizzard. But then once they got so many complaints and so much shit thrown at them, not
literal. They're not monkeys that throw their own poo.
This Diablo Eternal, then they started working on Diablo 4. Now, that's just from what it looks like from the public. Now, whether or not they were actually still working on Diablo 4 when they released Diablo Eternal and just wanted a mobile game to try to capture that market too, I couldn't tell you.
I have a theory on that too.
But from the public's eye, Diablo Eternal was
garbage.
Yeah, like it is nothing more than a poor attempt to get into the mobile game market. And it wasn't until enough people complained about it that they're like, oh shit, we actually need to do something different. And then they started working on Diablo 4. Now, I could be wrong, but public eye versus what actually happened, that's what it is. What's your theory?
My theory is that it is kind of along the same lines of what we were discussing outside of this podcast the other night. And part of the reason why I wanted to talk about them, these games, is that I have a theory that they've been working on Diablo 4 since before Diablo 3 came out. But they needed something to pacify the masses, so to speak. Just like you have a theory that they've been working on Destiny 3 since before Destiny 2 came out.
No, my theory on D3 is that they've been working on D3 around the same time that they were working on D2. They already have an idea of
the direction they want
D3 is going to be, because they've already stated with D2 that the final shape, which is going to be the last expansion for D2, is going to end the light versus dark saga.
And I mean, that's like I said, that's along the same lines of, okay, everybody's been anticipating, okay, the end of the story of Diablo 3, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Everybody was looking forward to the next Diablo 4. And
then they released the expansion for Diablo 3, which you go up against the Angel of Death.
Yeah.
And then they released Diablo Eternal, which was garbage.
And that's the thing. It's like my thought on that is maybe they released that mobile game to satisfy the desire for more Diablo until they had more of a plan of action and more storyboarding time and more setup for Diablo 4.
It is possible. I will fully admit it is possible that the whole Diablo Eternal thing was to get people ready and prepare them for Diablo 4, because in some of the cinematic trailers for Diablo Eternal, Lilith is mentioned. Now, I have not gotten through Diablo Eternal. I gave up on it. So I don't know a lot about the story. So as far as I know, the cinematic trailer for Diablo is introducing Lilith into the world. And Diablo 4 could just be the culmination of that. I'll have to do my own research, whether it's play the game or watch a walkthrough or
watch me, because let's face it, I'm probably going to monopolize the entire Xbox for
no, I'm talking about
a while.
Eternal. I want to do some research into Eternal and see what that game is all about.
And that's the thing is, like I said, I have been so invested in Diablo since Diablo 1 and Diablo 2.
But you haven't played Eternal.
I don't know. There's just something about certain games, like if they came out with a Destiny thing for the cell phone, I wouldn't play it either.
I would. I'd try it out, see what it's about.
Like if I'm interested in a game like that, I'm so used to the platforms that they're already on, like the computer, the gaming systems, whether you're playing on Xbox or PlayStation or whatever, that I'm so used to them being on computers or consoles that having it on my phone just doesn't seem as interesting. It doesn't seem as fun.
I mean, I will fully admit that there are some games that they were on a system and then they got put on the phone, and it's like, why? Why do something like that? Like, it makes no sense. Yeah. There are other games, I will fully admit, that they started off on a phone, like flipping it. They started on a phone and then they moved it to a console or the PC. I'm like, why? This makes no sense. Yeah. And then there are the rare third section where they started off on a console or they started off on a phone and then they flipped to the other one.
And it was so much better.
And the gameplay, the design, the story, insert whatever, is equal to, if not better than what it was. The story is more enticing. The graphics are obviously better, depending on where it changed over to. That it just enhances and enriches all of that.
I've got one of those games that like really it is kind of like that, where it was mostly on the computer but it got put on console and it's so much better on console. And it's kind of the same thing, but on the other aspect it's kind of not. It's not mobile to console or mobile to computer. And that's Warships, World of Warships. It seems to me, somebody from the outside, the general public that doesn't really play it a whole lot, that since it went to console, it is so much better.
Well, yes and no. Like, do more modern consoles have, I mean, comparing to where it started off at, do they have better graphics? Yeah, but there are a lot of World of Warship people who they've played both and they prefer
the computer
PC because it's easier to control. Like being able to aim, being able to fire and all of that, it's a lot smoother.
But that again is one of those things, kind of like what I was saying. I'm so used to playing certain things in a certain way, whether it be on console or on computer, that I don't like the other way.
Yeah. And that's fine. We're all entitled to our own opinion.
Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one.
So I actually have a surprise topic for our next section. So speaking of assholes,
Stu prizes.
Hold on to that thought.
Yay!
And we're gonna get right to it. So speaking of assholes, and I say assholes in this instance in a loving, like an extremely loving way.
I love an asshole.
These motherfuckers at Critical Role have done it again. Oh my God, Matthew Mercer. Matthew! What the hell? Mr. Mercer, if I could ask, and I highly doubt this is going to get to you, but in case it does.
It'd be great.
The fuck, bro? Like, spoilers, just for a second.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
We have, in Campaign 3, we have met members of the mighty and legendary Vox Machina. We've met Percy. We've met Vexalia. We've met Pike. We've met Keyleth. And now, in this latest episode, we have met 2 members of the motherfucking Mighty Nine. What in the actual fuck?
Beauregard Lionett.
And the Dirt Wizard himself.
Caleb Widowgat.
Like, really? I love this shit. Now,
he could go on this topic for a while.
I will fully bring up something that Matt has said before. This is something that he's always wanted to do. Like, he's always wanted to bring in past player characters as NPCs in previous campaigns before. And he stated as such. But he's never been able to, because all of the games that he's run before now have been in somebody else's world. This is the first time that he's been able to bring in other characters from previous campaigns, and I am fucking loving it. And yes, I said fucking loving it, because this shit is,
it's great.
Oh my God.
I got somebody genius. I got somebody you forgot.
The creative genius has if I could be a DM like Matt Mercer, or half a DM that Matt Mercer is, or half a DM that Brennan Lee Mulligan is, I would be fucking set. They brought in, I mean, granted, you also met Bertrand Bell, which is how Bell's Hells got their name. And he was from Campaign 1 and 2 one-shots. And they brought in, granted, it's a reference to and not the actual character. They brought in somebody from Liam O'Brien's Nightmare Before Christmas one-shot that Travis is now, replaying.
And you're still forgetting someone.
Who?
Laudna.
Yeah, well, she's an active character. She's an active character. Granted, she has a tie-in to Campaign 1, but like,
spoilers, she's the little girl hanging from the tree in the animated series.
But like, the creative ideas and
the creative genius
that's coming out of Critical Role is just like, holy shit, yo.
And that's the funny thing is Matt Mercer, and let's face it, the entire company. I mean, you've got Laura Bailey, Travis Willingham, Marisha Ray. You've got all of these.
Ashley Johnson, Sam Riegel, Liam O'Brien, Taliesin Jaffe.
People that have come from voice acting and like animated backgrounds. Well, minus Ashley Johnson, she got her start in Growing Pains. She's the little blonde girl in Growing Pains.
And Taliesin Jaffe got his start in Mr. Mom.
Yeah.
He was a little blonde boy. And Travis has even been on camera on a syndicated show. Granted, it was for a scene. He was in Nip Tuck, in case you didn't know. And I'm not only referring to you guys who are listening, but also to you. In one of the episodes of Nip Tuck. In one of the episodes of Nip Tuck, they go to this shop where it's a clothing store.
Is
But
that where he was dressed as a woman?
yep,
I remember now.
had a 5 o'clock shadow, lipstick, makeup, in a dress, in high heels, and he was the store owner. And they walked in, and they're like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Can I help you?" Just in his regular voice, and it was fucking hysterical. Now, granted, that was the only little snippet of Nip Tuck that I've ever seen, but still. And then Ashley Johnson was the forensic scientist and one of the main characters in Blindside. You know, so like these people come from film and studio work and voice acting. And I mean, Sam Riegel played fucking Donatello in one of the newer iterations of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Liam O'Brien
I'm
was
still finding out stuff that they've done in their past that are just like mind blowing.
Liam O'Brien was one of the characters from not Warmind. He was one of the characters from Warcraft. He was one of the
A couple
demon
of them.
princes.
Laura Bailey was too.
Laura Bailey, I believe, voiced Sylvanas, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't play Warcraft.
Warcraft
Taliesin
is great.
Jaffe is in fucking Fallout New Vegas. I mean, Laura Bailey also voiced fucking Kate or Kat from Gears of War. Ashley Johnson,
What's
Ellie
that other
from
one?
Last of Us.
What's that one that Laura Bailey did with where she was the main character, the female character, and it's not gonna come to me. You know exactly which one I'm talking about because we've talked about this before.
Gears of War.
Is that the one where they're going around to the different factions and stuff? I think it's factions. I'm not 100%.
Did she cosplay as as the character in one of the Halloween dress up specials
I don't remember.
or one of the Halloween episodes? Because yeah, she was Kat from Gears of War. Liam O'Brien is fucking Gara from
It's
Naruto.
high noon.
That's Matt Mercer.
I know.
But Liam O'Brien does the English dub of fucking Gara of the Sand for Naruto since the iteration of the character. Like since the character first appeared in the American English translation, the voice for Gara is Liam O'Brien. Not kidding.
That's
Travis
hysterical.
Willingham, Colonel Roy Mustang in Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Laura Bailey voiced Lust in both of those shows as well, which is funny because that is the only time that you'll ever see a husband and wife kill, one of them kill the other one. And it's one of those times. And it's fucking hysterical because Lust gets killed by Mustang.
Yeah.
Gets set on fire repeatedly. And who voiced Lust? Laura Bailey. Who voiced Mustang? Travis Willingham. Are they made in real life? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Just like Matt Mercer and Marisha Ray.
They voice, like Matt Mercer, he was known as McCree, and now he is Cassidy. Now the name has changed because of everything that happened with Blizzard to Cassidy in Overwatch and Overwatch 2. He's done that voice. He's done voices across multitudes of different games. Marisha Ray has done voices in multitudes of different games. A lot of them side characters, which sucks because Marisha Ray has such a charismatic personality that she can't help but draw you in. And yet she's I say this lovingly, an asshole at times in stating how she wants things and how things should go. But she's fantastic at doing so. Like when she's an asshole to you, you're like, okay, yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. And then Sam Riegel fucking started off as a voice actor, and now he's directing other voice actors. He's also
a music producer.
He was the director of Sophia the First.
which was
That was Sam Riegel.
supposed to be stories for his children.
Well, no, like they came to him. Disney came to him and they're like, "Hey, by the way, you've done great with all these other ones. How about giving we want you to be the director for Sophia the First?" And he was for like, I don't know if he did it the entire time,
I
but
believe
at
so.
least for the first couple of seasons of Sophia the First.
And if I'm correct, other Critical Role personnel were actually in Sophia the First as some of the voices.
That part I'm not sure about, but like some of these
I'll have to look into that.
Some of these other games that Critical Role people are in, he's been the voice actor for and has chosen these people because not because they're his friends, but because they're the best suited. And these people at Critical Role started off, keep in mind, the whole Critical Role thing started off as it was just a one shot that I believe it was Liam O'Brien wanted to run for his birthday on an episode of All Work and No Play, which is Sam and Liam's podcast.
Which is funny. They're
started off as a one shot. And then Liam got the itch. And he's like, let's do this again. And tried to reach out to everybody. And everybody's like, I don't know. And then they made time and they're like, okay, let's play. So they played for years at home. Now, granted, their games were spaced out, months, sometimes months apart because of work schedules. But they were playing. And then Felicia Day from Geek and Sundry.
Geek and Sundry is great.
Went ahead and was like, hey, I've heard about this game. What do you think about maybe putting it up online? So they did. And what they were going to do is they were going to take like the first couple episodes of putting it up online and test it and see how it went.
And if it exploded.
And if everybody in the cast or wasn't, comfortable with it, or if they didn't get enough views, they would be like, okay, we're not going to continue to do this. And then it fucking exploded.
The amount of nerds on this planet, us being one of them,
fucking exploded. And then like a couple years after being with Geek and Sundry, they took the idea and the name of their show and made it their company.
And they do so much with it. It's not just
the game that you see being played on Twitch.
Exactly.
They have Darrington Press, which is their books. Then they also put out games with it as well. Ukatoa being one of those games.
They paired with Munchkin and put out a Critical Role version on Munchkin, which is another card game.
And then they have the Scanlan Shorthalt music production.
And I mean,
and now they have the Amazon Prime Legend of Vox Machina, and in case y'all haven't heard, my fellow
or been
nerds,
living under a rock,
they are now doing and starting production for
Mighty Nine,
making that into an animated series,
which I'm so excited for.
And it's like all of this came from a one shot. And because of that one shot, Matt was able to create an entire world and have multiple campaigns be in that world, so that way their previous characters can have interaction with the current characters.
And that's not even the half of it. One of the biggest things, and I forget where I saw this, but one of the biggest things that Matt Mercer and the rest of the cast are so proud of is their charity work, their community
Critical Role
work.
Foundation.
And they have done so much for the community. And it's like they implore their followers, their watchers, their viewers, however you want to look at it.
Critters.
They look at all of us critters and say, hey, this is a need in this community. And they come out in troves.
I mean, look at Danny Carr. Okay. I love Danny Carr.
I love Danny.
She is fantastic.
She's the lore keeper.
You know how she started? She was a fan.
Yeah.
And she was keeping track at home of lore. And she joined. I don't remember if it was Reddit. I don't remember if it was the Discord. I don't remember like where she joined. But people started asking questions about lore and previous stuff, and she was so accurate and spot on in answering this stuff that they reached out to her and they're like, "Hey, we want you to, you know, work for us." And she started working for him, and now she's the lore keeper. She keeps track of everything, make sure that, I mean, she is involved in some of the planning of where Matt wants to bring stuff, because he uses Danny as like a reference point,
A
like
sounding board.
not a sounding board, because he still wants to keep things secret and he still doesn't want
Oh yeah.
the cast to know. But like, hey, what happened in this spot? And she'll go through her notes.
And she watches these episodes that, keep in mind, are 4 and 5 hours long, multitudes of times.
And she sits there and she's like, okay, I have, so in this area, this happened at this time, and this happened at this time, and this happened at this time. And she keeps track of it. And even Matt, who is the creator of this world, has referred and called out to Danny, like, hey, this happened here, right?
No, it happened here. Okay.
And they've done that in the Talks Machina that used to run, that was done by Brian W. Foster, Ashley Johnson's fiance, and incredible musician, by the way. He has his own thing on Twitch, where he interviews people. And now on Four Sided Dive, there's been times where they even Matt has been like, I think this happened here, and Danny will come on the camera and is like, yeah, that happened here with this person at this time, and they said this. And it's like, they employ fans. Now, there have been some bad apples and some bad actors who have joined, and Critical Role has had to let go, and there's been a lot of disgruntled, bullshit that's happened. There was a controversy
What is
a
his
couple
name?
months ago. I don't remember, but one of the people was not doing what they were supposed to be doing, and instead attacking critters, and was a part of the Critical Role team. And so they're like, no,
This is not the direction we need to be going.
So, and then when they told him that they didn't need him any longer, he got upset and started blasting everybody on the cast. And it's like, no, that's not what these people are about.
Exactly.
But they bring attention to a lot of different things, and they raise money for a lot of different charities. And they do so much fucking good in this world that is, I cannot help but be amazed by these men and women who are in this space and have such a reach to be able to help out as many people as they are. It is mind blowing and amazing. And
one of the biggest things that they say, and Matt has said from the beginning, is don't forget to love each other.
I mean, that's why we try to say it.
And that's the thing, is like, they do so much good for so many different things, and they, use that phrase. They have a shirt that is the all proceeds, and I don't remember if it's all proceeds or a portion or whatever, they donated to the LGBTQI plus community with those shirts. I had one of those shirts. It's since disappeared. I have no idea where it went. But it literally encompasses all aspects, whether you're
Heterosexual, homosexual, asexual, bisexual,
exactly,
pansexual.
They have all the flags on D20s, which is friggin' wicked in the first place. But they help so many different communities, and which has brought more people into the community, more critters in, people that have never heard of Dungeons and Dragons in their life are getting more into D&D and more into Critical Role and everything that they do because of the things that this company does for our communities.
It's just
it's so widespread.
These people at this company, between the creative genius of the company itself and what they're doing and the story that they're telling and the people who are involved with it as well, it's just, I can't help but be amazed.
And this is me, like, being the general public, being a critter myself, like, I am so immensely proud of everything that they do. Like, coming from being a mom to somebody who is part of the LGBTQ community, somebody that, you know, started a club at their school because of the things that Critical Role did for the community. I mean, that's where Bug got her idea for the club and to help her friends and herself, was because of the don't forget to love each other mentality. And don't forget to love each other mentality. She built a Lego structure with all of the colors and flags for the LGBTQ community that is still up at Goddard.
Yeah.
That the sign in front of it says, don't forget to love each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, reaching kids that struggle, like,
that are terrified.
And even to this day, kids and teenagers and adults are terrified to come out to their families, but they feel more at ease with the family that Critical Role has built.
It's fantastic.
I mean, anybody that's listening, if you're part of that community and your family has disowned you, guess what? I'm your mom now. Granted, some of you are probably older than me, some of you are probably younger than me. But I don't care. I'm your family now. We're your family now.
Yep.
Welcome. It's insane.
Yay.
We don't walk through crazy. We enjoy every minute of it. I will never stop fighting for anyone in the community that we have built, that Critical Role has built. I will go to bat for anybody. As long as you're not an asshole to me and my family.
Or do asshole-ish things.
Cool. Like me talking to one of your Navy buddies for hours on end because he needed a female perspective.
Yep.
Granted, go home, you're drunk, Tyler. Oh, wait, you are home. But
I love that man.
He needed a woman's perspective on something, and he knew that he could call me because I don't care who you are. If you ask me something, I'm going to tell you the truth. It might hurt your feelings, but that's what you need to hear, is the truth.
Well, the truth is that we need to start wrapping this up. So I will say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Critical Role team. Thank you.
We love you.
Thank you, Bungie. Fuck you, medical health care centers.
The greedy ones.
And fuck all the greed mongers and the people who are just
money hungry assholes.
Yeah, fuck all of y'all.
We still love you. We'll still help you.
But fuck you.
But
anyways, I think that's it. We covered a couple of topics.
We didn't go off on too much of a bunny trail.
Yay. But
next time, I think I want to talk about pets, unusual ones,
normal
ones.
We'll see.
You know,
we'll see.
Let's see if we remember.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you guys for listening. We really do appreciate it. Check out some of the other episodes that we've done. Granted, I know like the first couple ones are really rough, and I'm sorry. But
There's only one thing I have to say. Love each other and don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick. I'm currently working on getting this up on YouTube. So if you're listening on YouTube, hey, welcome. If you are listening to it somewhere else,
let us know where you're listening from too.
Yeah. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Love you. Don't forget to love you. Don't forget to love each other. And don't be a dick.
Bye,
guys.